The Blackhawks lose 3-1 at the United Center to the Detroit Red Wings, which always sucks. Greg Boysen's here. We're going to wrap it up next on CHGO Blackhawks. Hawks lose 3-1 to the Red Wings. Thanks for being here on the CHGO Blackhawks POSTGAME Podcast. I'm Jay Zawaski. That's Greg Boysen. Mario Tirabassi will join us shortly from the United Center with all the information from the locker room, from Jeff Blashill, and beyond. Hawks' lone goal today comes from Colton Dach, and if you're watching the game at home and you're looking at the score sheet, you might think, wow, that kind of sucked. Another loss to the Red Wings. I got to say, Greg, there were a few things here and there that I'm sure we can get to nitpick a little bit, but for the most part, the Hawks played pretty well in this game. They certainly could have won this game. A couple mistakes end up in the back of their net. The power play goes 0 for 6 despite having 12 shots on goal. A lot more positive than negative for me in this one.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're going out there against future Hall of Famer Cam Talbot,
that was ridiculous.
you're lucky to get the one goal you got. I mean, this is like the greatest to ever do it. At least he looked like it tonight. Preseason game. Who cares?
Yeah.
But they played okay at 5-on-5. It was one of those nights that we've seen so many times over the last few years where the Blackhawks are like a half an inch from converting. Yeah. Everything was just so close. And then anytime they made a mistake, the Red Wings scored. It was just like Cam Talbot makes a great save at one end, and then they go down the other end and score. The goals against were, Connor Murphy had a bad play at the blue line. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And then poor Andre Burakovsky got hung out to dry on the back check.
He tried.
Second goal, Jason Dickinson's kind of just loses a race to a puck and then kind of just says,
yeah,
I'm good letting the guy in the slot just stand there by himself.
I watched that. NHL.com has the goal simulator.
I watched that over the highlights.
And,
it's cool.
Yeah, and I watched it probably 15 times trying to figure out what's going on, and it looks like there was probably a miscommunication on who had the coverage. And this is something we've heard during the preseason with the man-on-man that they're playing defensively, that sometimes it can get confusing. Look, for me, when it's Connor Murphy and Jason Dickinson making mistakes, fine. Because I know 9 times out of 10, those guys, at least defensively, are going to do the right thing. They're going to make the right play. They take a chance in the preseason, fine. Jason Dickinson doesn't kill himself getting to defend a play, fine. I'm sure there's something got crossed on that play. It wasn't just a complete 100% on Dickinson, but that's the sort of stuff I can live with in the preseason. The young guys look good. Connor Bedard played well at all ends. Had a ton of shot attempts. What did he end up? I know he had 8 at one point in the game.
He had 8 shot attempts, yeah.
I actually ended up with 10 shot attempts.
Okay, I must have had a couple at the end. I wrote that down with like 2 minutes to go.
So 10 shot attempts for Bedard, 5 shots on goal for Artem Levshinov, 4 shots and another shot attempt from Colton Dach. And we should talk about Colton Dach.
10 shot attempts from Sam Renzel tonight.
Yes.
10. So, yeah, the top 6 looks good.
Updated to 11 for Renzel.
The top 6 looks good. If you have that locked in for the regular season, keep them that way. Let them cook, as the kids say. Do they still say that?
They do. 6 or 7 times. See, we're killing it.
Yeah,
we are going to kill it.
It's officially dead. Again, preseason game, not a lot to like. You're not making any declarations over this. Unfortunately, there are a couple guys that might have played themselves out of an NHL spot here tonight. But you're still seeing this team kind of gel, kind of pick up on the new systems. You're still seeing a little disjointed play at times. It's going to come with reps. But, the guys you want to see good efforts from, you're getting. And there's reasons to be excited for the regular season. There's reasons to watch all 82 games this year.
Yeah, definitely.
You're going to see some of these guys grow throughout the season. And they're going to be in a lot better spot, in April than we're seeing them now. And it's going to be fun to watch them get there.
I am actually ready to make 2 grand declarations after this preseason game. Colton Dach has made the team.
I said that after his first preseason game.
And he flat out has wrestled a spot away. And later in the show, because we're not going to spend 60 minutes on a preseason game, we're going to talk about Kevin Korchinski getting demoted. We're going to talk about the Lucas Reichel trade rumors. It looks like he's probably played his last game as a Hawk. So we'll keep you posted on that. We're going to get to that in the second half. But I think Ethan Del Mastro may have also played himself out of a roster spot during his performance this year. I can think of, off the top of my head, 4 times Ethan Del Mastro delivered a perfect on-the-tape pass to the wrong team.
Yeah.
And it's one thing
having
to
trouble staying on his skates.
And
too.
staying on his skates has been an issue. And it's one thing to look, it's a young player making a young mistake. Fine. Like, I think Sam Renzel on the third goal kind of gets second goal. Gets a little bit out-battled.
What was the third goal? Yeah.
Was the third goal? Okay. So he gets the Raymond goal.
Yeah, he got totally out-muscled by a now veteran, elite player in Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond's a 30-plus goal scorer. Like, that's going to happen. But it's not going to happen twice.
And I can live with that. But just flat out setting up the opponent for a one-timer, not the best, especially when it's happened 4 times in a single preseason from a single player. He needs more time. So those are my 2 declarations. Dach is in, Del Mastro is out, and I guess by elimination, does that mean Nolan Allen's in, or does that mean to you that Matt Grzelcyk is getting a deal?
It could be both.
It could be both.
Listen, Nolan Allen was fantastic in the was it the St. Louis game?
Yeah.
The
Minnesota game.
Yeah. He was physical. He impacted the game. We've heard that word a lot from Jeff Blashill. The first day of training camp, I asked him, I said, how does a guy separate himself in these roster battles in your eyes? And he says, first you got to make an impact on the game in a positive way. And that's what Nolan Allen did his last game. He was very physical. He was separating guys off the puck. He was playing sound defense. I think this is the second year in a row he's going to start the regular season in the NHL. I still think Ethan Del Mastro is going to be a solid hockey player.
I do too.
But
I do too.
I think, so you go Nolan Allen and then Crevier is your 7th, or do you sign Grzelcyk? Like, Grzelcyk tonight, I kind of made a point to watch him, but I did nothing. I kind of forgot he was out there half the time.
Yeah.
And when you're a defenseman, that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I mean,
because when you're a defenseman, it's like being an offensive lineman in football. You only notice them when you do something really great or really bad. If you don't notice you, you're doing your job.
I was trying to keep an eye on him too, and the times I really noticed was like, all right, it's fine. Like, there was nothing that really stood out. He's got some speed, but he lacks size, but it's okay. You've got a really big defensive group, so you can kind of live with that. I don't know. If they signed him, it wouldn't kill me. I'm at the point now where I want young guys to play. And I think if they do indeed trade Lucas Reichel, which is what it looks like they're going to do, you're opening up a spot for somebody. Dach, Green, maybe Oliver Moore. On the back end, though, it's all a matter of how comfortable they are with Nolan Allen. And I think the last couple, I think he probably gets the last 2 preseason games.
I'm sure he's
to show
definitely
what
going to play. He's definitely going to play Friday night.
Yeah.
And then Saturday will likely be like, hey, all you guys we sent to Rockford, come back here for one night. They'll recall a bunch of guys.
Blashill did say last week, though, that with a new system, and some new faces. He kind of wants to get as much preseason time as he can for the guys, and they might all play one more game than they planned on, but I also don't know if I want the ace lineup in there for the final preseason game. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But they've got some options, and I'm pretty much at this point, I think it's pretty predictable what the roster is going to be, save for the Grizzly Allen situation.
Yeah, those 3 final defensemen for 2 spots between Allen, Crevier, and Grizzly. Crevier is your ideal 7th guy because if he sits for 5 or 6 games in the press box, no one's going to scream you're screwing his development, as opposed if you had Kevin Korchinski up here sitting 5 or 6 straight games, or let him go to Rockford.
Yeah, play 25 minutes a night and
we'll get into
World,
Korchinski later. And then up front, you still have some, Colton Dach has made this team. Landon Slaggert's going to be on the opening night. It's a guy we kind of forgot about him, but the way Blashill talked in the beginning of camp about that third line being Dickinson, Mikheyev, and Slaggert makes me think that, okay, so that gives you two guys for one spot. Moore and Green are probably, it's going to come down to those 2 guys. And
so then you got to factor in the Lafferty factor too.
Well, to me, Lafferty's on this team.
So then does that, in your mind, does that bode better for Ryan Green, who would be a 4th-line center if he's on the team, or Oliver Moore, who I think one thing that Moore gives you is some versatility. He can go play in the top 6 if you need him, play in the bottom 6 if you need him, he can kill penalties, be on the power play if you need him. That versatility might get him on the team, and I heard Troy Murray talking about it during the second intermission, saying, he's got to learn to, finish the opportunities. It doesn't mean necessarily just putting the puck in the back of the net. He means, hey, I've got the puck in the offensive zone. I just spun off a defender, but then I turned the puck over. That kind of finishing.
Yeah. There's still a lot of college in Oliver Moore's game that he's got to get out of his system. There's still a lot of trying to skate through 3 defenders, trying to squeeze that pass through the middle. That's not going to happen here. He might have got away with that stuff as a Golden Gopher. It's not going to happen as a Blackhawk. So I think he might need a little more time in Rockford just to kind of get a little of that out of his system, get used to the pro game a little more. I think Ryan Green has the upper hand a little bit more. Yes, that speed is dynamic. We saw it tonight. There was a play where the pass was kind of off the boards, and there was a defender there, and Moore saw it and just hit that.
He just takes
hit
off.
The burst, and that defender was like, "Oh man, I'm done. I'm gone." That he's definitely dangerous, but I think Ryan Green's overall 200-foot game, you want a little bit of that. He's been pretty good at the face-off dot, and he's a guy that's not afraid to get to the front of the net either. You don't have as much net front guys as you want. Colton Dach's been really good at it. If you get another guy that can do it. So I think Green has a slight upper hand.
So Green played, if we want to read into the numbers at all, Green played 733. That's a team low. Now, they were on the power play a lot, and he's not getting power play time. Oliver Moore played 1234, including 12 seconds on the power play. So make of that what you will. I don't think there's much to read in there, but me personally, I want it to be Oliver Moore because I think you're pretty set on the bottom 6. Dickinson, Foligno, Dach, Mikheyev, Lafferty. There's 5. I don't know if I need Ryan Green too. Slaggert. That's 6. That's a pretty solid bottom 6.
But would you rather have Oliver Moore playing 12, 13 minutes a night here, maybe being scratched every second or third game? Or would you rather have him go down and get in the Frank Nazar treatment in Rockford? Being top 6, playing big minutes, getting power play time, getting PK time for 2 months in Rockford, and then taking that experience back up here.
All right, we got to hit the break zone. Let's continue that conversation next because I think it's more than just a one-sentence answer. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Do us a favor. Hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube page as well. We've not asked you for that yet. We got a lot of people watching, not a lot of people liking. Let's change it. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks.
I think you're supposed to say the brand, Greg.
It's true, though. He's not wrong. Get yourself some RC Cola. It's an OG Cola in a world that does not fold under the pressure. You need it. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. RC's been the same since 1905. That tells you it was perfect from the start. It's the same bold, crisp flavor. It's always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. Do yourself a favor. Grab some RC at your local store. RC Cola is not a soft drink. Just damn good cola. And if you are a coach of youth sports, listen up. If you're looking to train athletes, Eye on the Ball is where you need to be. It's simple. Create a profile, upload your background check. That's important. And boom, you are in. And our new promo for coaches with Eye on the Ball, free 6 months. Then it's just $50 a month or $500 for the whole year. Athletes of all ages and all sports can find you directly. So let's say you have a knack for teaching hitting, or you have a knack for teaching volleyball players how to serve overhand. They're looking for you. So sign up at eyeontheball.net. That's eyeontheball.net. Don't wait. The athletes are already there looking for you. Again, take advantage of that free 6 months at eyeontheball.net. All right, let's continue this Oliver Moore conversation. You asked me before the break, would I rather have him playing top minutes in Rockford in all situations or playing 12 or 13 minutes in Chicago? Now, obviously, is it safer to put him in Rockford? Yes. But I also feel like, are we demoting Oliver Moore simply because he's young? Simply because he has not had a ton of time in Rockford yet? I also think, like, while you should take your time with prospects, you shouldn't do it arbitrarily either. If a guy has shown you that he can play at this level, I think he's earned a spot. I think Oliver Moore has been really effective, really noticeable, one of the better Hawks forwards in the preseason. And look, if you play him 3-4 games here and say, ooh, okay, all right, well, let's hit the reset button here for Oliver Moore, you can send him back, call up Ryan Green, and go the safe route. But I think for a kid like Moore, who's done everything you've asked him to do, scored a game-winning goal for you, I think that he's earned a job, and it doesn't have to be a permanent decision. So me personally, I would have him start in Chicago.
Okay. Those are all fair points. I mean, I'm not going to be mad one way or the other. I think both Ryan Green and Oliver Moore can, be good at this level this earlier in their careers. Ryan Green's never played in the AHL either, but he's got one extra year of college, at BU, 3 years at BU, that's pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. But you're right. Like, if more they say, hey, you've earned a spot out of camp. We said we're going to let the young kids, play for their spot. You played for one, and then it's not very good. He shows up in Florida and Boston and just gets, has his ass handed to him. Here's your ass.
There you go.
Then you can send him down to Rockford in time for opening weekend and bring somebody back up. They've got options, which is good. And Jeff Blashill said it the other day when asked about the final week of camp and cuts, and he's like, it's not like this is your junior high team or your AAA team. If you get cut, you're not on the team. You're gone.
Yeah.
He's like, we're just setting an opening night roster. We don't have to keep all those guys here all season. Guys will be in and out of the lineup. Guys will be up and down. It's going to evolve. We all know the hockey, the opening night roster. Everybody makes a big deal out of it. It's exciting, but in the end, those aren't going to be the guys that are here throughout the course of the season. So lots of moving parts. But if Oliver Moore has earned it, you give it to him. Maybe you give Slaggert a few games in Rockford to kind of get up to speed. He practiced today. He's supposed to play at least one game this weekend, so we'll get a look.
Yeah.
See what happens. Maybe you give Slaggert start the year in Rockford, and then, if Moore isn't look like he needs to get some more coaching down there, then you make that swap out.
Yeah, I mean that's sort of the other thing too. And look, it's not Landon Slaggert's fault he got hurt, but I also think they've got enough NHL ready talent up front where Landon Slaggert should not just be an automatic. I think he also needs to earn a role here. And I know he's on a one-way deal, but it doesn't mean he can't be sent down. It means that he gets the same salary in Rockford or Chicago.
I still think he's waiver eligible. Like he's waiver exempt, I believe.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to clear waiver. You can send him up and down as many times as you want. So that's an option as well.
Because we're on the Moore thing, like last year, Frank Nazar went back and thrived in Rockford, and they called him up.
But Frank Nazar didn't look good in the preseason last year.
Exactly. They 100% kept that second line center position vacant for Frank Nazar.
And he didn't earn it.
And then he had a poor preseason, and he would tell you the same thing. So they said, well, we need him to earn it. He certainly did not earn it, so he's starting in Rockford. And then, as predicted, was great in Rockford, and they called up. I think Oliver Moore has done enough to earn a spot on this team. If Oliver Moore was 24 and had a year of Rockford last year, people would be like, oh, he's in. You're penciling him in based on the way he looked in the preseason. I just don't think you should just arbitrarily hold a guy down just because. That's all I'm saying. Again, if your thing comes to fruition and they send him down and he's on the Frank Nazar plan in air quotes, fine, I understand it. But I just think it sends a message to these kids that says, you show us something and we're going to reward you for it, and we're not going to make you wait simply because you're young. So I know we want to play Colton Dach. How long is the Colton Dach, Sean? Oh, it's only a minute. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear what Colton Dach had to say today. He was the lone goal scorer for the Blackhawks.
Felt good. I think our line did pretty well, especially in the third period, just maintaining the ozone. That's what we have to do. I mean, Fliggy kind of started it with us being physical, and then Greener made some really good plays down low and just tried to use my body to my advantage.
From the outside, it seems like you're a pretty safe bet to make the team here, but how big is it to score a goal and just do whatever you can to make sure that happens?
Yeah, I think the last two games I thought I did pretty good showcasing my physical side. I wanted to come out here tonight and try and showcase some other aspects of my game. I'm just going to keep doing that every day.
Is there a comfort level you have in that regard that you feel like you're making this roster?
I think every day it's the same. Just come in, work hard, try and make it, try and prove to them that I belong.
Even with that being said, is this the most confident that you've been as a professional?
I think so. I think playing last year, kind of getting familiar with the guys, getting to know the staff, the trainers, everything, you just feel more comfortable in the locker room.
What do you think's been the biggest difference in your game that's led you to have a pretty strong preseason?
I think the consistency factor. I think that was my biggest thing going into the AHL 2 years ago, and then last year, same thing, just trying to play consistent, trying to show them that I can be an NHL every day.
All right, there he is, Colton Dach. And speaking of Colton Dach, he is Greg's nominee for our game puck today. Tell us why you chose Colton Dach, right?
He's my Hawk. Oh, wait, that was last year. Well, he was, he had the goal, as we talked about, but 4 shots on goal, 5 attempts, 5 hits. Got some power play time on that second unit.
Yes, he did.
He made this play on a power play that I was like, wow, why don't more guys do that? He got the puck behind the net, kind of skated out towards. Now, this is usually a spot where most guys will look to either maybe look for a back door or pass it back out to the point. But he saw there was a ton of room, and he just went right to the net and tried to stuff it in.
Yeah, stuff it in.
That's what you do. There was nobody between you and the goalie. Go try and score a goal. I was like, wow. That is such a savvy, simple play, but those are the types of things he needs to do.
I also think that's the play of a confident player, of someone who is believing in the. I think you'll see a lot of the. I just got to dish it off. I got to dish it off any chance I get, because I'm young or whatever. No, man. Colton Dach said, screw it. I'm bigger and stronger than you, and I'm taking this puck to the net. I love that. I noticed that play too. And
his goal was great. His goal was just like, dude, screw you. I'm going to the net. You can jump on my back. I'm still scoring this goal.
With speed.
Power move.
And actually, that was very similar to the goal Ryan Donato scored where Bedard set him up with the backhand pass across. That streaking into the net, roof shot, short side, that is a very difficult shot to pull off, especially coming in with the speed that Dach had.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I was really impressed with that.
I mean,
My nominee, oh, sorry.
One last thing on Dach is, you got to address the elephant in the room. You just hope that this is the year. This is the year that he can finally stay on the ice.
That's
yes.
Knock on pack sawdust. My nominee for Game Puck is Wyatt Kaiser. As we were discussing these, because we like to have different picks, I feel like Wyatt Kaiser had a great game because he just was doing all the little things right. Had the big check at the blue line, just very steady out there. 70% Corsi for Wyatt Kaiser at 5-on-5. 14 shot attempts for, 6 against with him on the ice. That is obviously a team high. That is a 40% Corsi relative. The next closest guy was Ryan Donato at 55% Corsi. I thought Wyatt Kaiser had a phenomenal game, really steady, and that's what you're looking for from him. The offense will come. I feel like he's a guy with some unpacked offensive potential. Scored a nice goal in the preseason. Don't get me wrong, but the steadiness he brings and the confidence he brings. In the first period, we saw him basically take a puck from center ice right to the net. Wyatt Kaiser believes in himself. We've always said that about him. He's a guy who exudes confidence. He looked really good. We'll ask Mario his choice. He's going to join us here.
I do want to give
in a second.
On Kaiser, I want to give a shout out to a guy that was at practice today at Fifth Third Arena. He walked into the building with me wearing a leather jacket with Wyatt Kaiser and a giant 44 painted on the back of his leather jacket and like Wyatt Kaiser's signature. It was cool. It was like a motorcycle jacket, but I was like, that's a choice.
You early investment.
But, it looked like he painted it on himself or had somebody do it.
Okay.
Didn't buy the jacket with it on it. Like it was cool. I was like, all right, that's a super fan right there. That is a unique item nobody else has. And as a guy that, when I was a season ticket holder, I always wanted to get the jersey of the guy nobody else had. So I can respect that.
I agree with that. I've always had weird jerseys, but that is an intense choice.
Hey, man.
Good for him,
I thought
man.
It was cool. So shout out to Wyatt Kaiser, leather jacket guy.
Mario's choice is Sam Renzel. We're going to have him on here on the other side of the break, and he'll explain why if you don't know why. But the poll is live right now on our YouTube. You vote for who gets our game puck, so get those votes in. And while you're over there voting, why not hit the like button, and why not become a big with our friends at Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. We have been raising funds for them all month, trying to get bigs all month. Today is the last day of our Big Brothers, Big Sisters month of giving, so let's finish strong. Last post-game show, we raised $700 in donations, and we converted a couple bigs to sign up and volunteer as well. We say this all the time. If you can donate a cup of coffee this week, $5. If everybody in this chat donated $5 right now at bbbs.org/allcity, it'd be a big, big number for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They need your help. We need your help. And most importantly, we need to beat the other All City networks. All right? We're in the lead right now. We need to win it with authority. No last-second block field goals for us. We want to spike the ball repeatedly on the other All City network. So help us do that. bbbs.org/allcity. Become a big, give some money, whatever you want to do. We would greatly, greatly appreciate your help on this, the final day of our Big Brothers, Big Sisters month of giving. Okay, when we come back, we'll be joined by Mario Tirabassi. He's got fresh tape from Jeff Blashill, and he'll have some information from the locker room. Stick around, hit the like button. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks. And Chicago Sports Network is the official TV and streaming home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, White Sox, broadcasting over 300 live games per year. CHSN offers the All Access plan. That's $29.99 a month, and it gives you access to all the games and programming on the network. They also offer individual team plans. So if you don't care about the Sox or the Bulls, and there's a pretty good chance of that if you're watching us, $20 a month. That gives you access to the team you select. You can sign up to watch CHSN at chsn.com, or you can watch via the CHSN app, which can be downloaded on Apple and Android devices, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Samsung TV. CHSN is also available on Xfinity, DirecTV, DirecTV Stream, and Fubo. Visit chsn.com for more details. And I never get to do this one. New vehicles are in store at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and
Ram.
Thank you. And this is your chance to save a great deal at the Drive into Fall event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chryslers, Dodges, Jeepses, and Ramses. Thank you. Right now, get up to $15,000 off MSRP or get 0% financing for 72 months on 2025 models. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, they prioritize affordability so you know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need. And with Ray's price promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. Pretty simple. Check out our partner today to shop one of Chicago's area's greatest inventories. Find the right new vehicle for you. Don't miss out on the Drive into Fall event for huge savings on new models. For more info, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. All right, we're back. Lots of like buttons hit. Hopefully lots of bigs joined and money donated. Let's go out to United Center, the bowels of the United Center, and bring in Mario Tirabassi. Mario, what did we learn post-game? We already played Colton Dach, heard what he had to say. What were the takeaways from the team?
Yeah, I think it was one of the biggest things was that they started slow. The first period was not the best hockey that they could have played, but as the game went on, I think it seemed like the team started to settle in a little bit more. They got a plethora of power play chances, so they were able to generate a lot of offense that way, control a lot of the game, especially in the second period. 3 power play opportunities in that period. Unfortunately, they weren't able to capitalize on any of them, even though they were generating a lot of chances. So as the game went on, they started to get a little bit better. It's one of those things where you just kind of shrug your shoulders and say, like, that's hockey, because the first 3 preseason games we've seen them play, they haven't dominated the metrics, but they're 2-1. Tonight they dominated the metrics in all strengths, and they come out with a 3-1 loss. So it's just one of those things that as you go through a season, there's going to be games like this where if you are a little slow to begin, Jeff Blashill pinpointed not necessarily slow to compete or be ready to play, quote unquote, but more ready to execute, then you're going to find yourself working from behind.
I know you have a couple Jeff Blashill highlights you wanted to play. You want to set these up for us?
Yeah. So I mean, the big story coming out of this game tonight is the play of Colton Dach. He like you heard him say in his scrum that this is the most confident he has felt playing as a professional, and I think that is definitely translating on the ice, and it was not lost on Jeff Blashill postgame. Here's what he had to say about Colton Dach's performance tonight.
I think what can really make him special too is both, in both those elements. And I thought he looked like a big power forward tonight in the sense of, he had some moments of physicality, but he's also really strong on the puck and he's got really good hands. And so that's a great combination if you can kind of continue that on a night-to-night basis. The one thing about this league is it's an every-night league, and so any of our guys have to make sure that it's you're never going to be at your best every single night. I get it, but you got to be as near to your best as possible. And he certainly was really good tonight again.
That's one of the things that we've had to say about Colton Dach basically all of last season, and the times that he's come up to Chicago and gone back to Rockford, is being able to do it consistently night after night. And so far through the preseason, every game he's played, he's had at least a moment or two where you notice him in a positive way, whether it's jumping into a scrum or laying a big hit or being a presence around the net, or tonight where, he's able to show off that he's not only able to be a power forward where he's physical, but he's also able to, still has a scoring touch. This is a guy that had good production numbers in the AHL, was a top performer for his junior club's top scoring option there. So this is a guy that has that ability. And tonight was a game where you kind of saw a little bit of each of those things. But being on the ice consistently, being healthy, and then putting in that effort is going to be his ticket to staying in the NHL for a long time.
Yeah, that will be his biggest thing, and not just being healthy, but maintaining. And I think sometimes for physical players, it can get a little bit exhausting, and you get banged up and those sort of things. And to be able to do that for the better part, no one's going to be perfect for 82 games, but for the better part of 82 games, to be able to maintain that physicality is going to be key for him. But it feels like, and just hearing him talk, it sounds like he's received that message from the several coaches that have given him that feedback over the last few years.
Yeah, I think he very clearly knows what it takes. It's just going out and doing it. And I think we saw it at times last season, but then every time it seemed like he got a few games going in the right direction, there'd be something that hindered him, whether it was an injury or getting scratched or something like that. So I think he knows clearly what his path is, and he's accepted it early on in his career, and now I think he's getting the biggest opportunity to put that on display. And he's just he's 22 years old. He's had a little bit of time to kind of mature physically and as a hockey player in his professional life. So I think you're starting to see the fruits of that, and a guy that's starting to really tap into his potential.
Thought I saw some good stuff from Andre Burakovsky today too. It wasn't a ton, but saw the flashes, saw the speed. We saw last week Jeff Blashill mentioned how he's so good in transition, carrying a puck into the zone, kind of good with the give and go. Saw that on display a few times. I know he spoke about Burakovsky after the game too. You want to set this one up?
Yeah, the question was more or less about Burakovsky getting some chemistry built with Ryan Donato and Connor Bedard, and I think, as to your point, that definitely was on display. There were a few times where you saw the patience that he has with the puck and ability to make some plays. So it starts off with Jeff Blashill talking about Burakovsky, and then kind of going into a bigger point about chemistry and what they can work on as far as chemistry goes in the preseason.
Yeah, I think it's been a good bright spot. Like I thought Andre was really good tonight. He can hold on to a puck. He can he's a skilled player. He's got a give and go in his game. So I think he's done a good job. I think there does appear to be some chemistry building. That's what you hope out of camp is. I had some thoughts of kind of tweaking the lines a little bit, but reality is you only get a few games to play together. Might as well try to build chemistry as much as you can.
Well,
that's one of the talking points that we've had with Jeff Blashill about, too early to make changes or too late to make changes. And already in the preseason, we're seeing him make a decision to build chemistry through the preseason rather than trying to change things up. So that's good.
I like good. The top six, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
It's looked good.
That's fine.
Like, it's good. Let them have 10, 12 games to figure it out in the regular season. Already seeing people in the chats like, well, you should put so-and-so with. No! We've spent the last 2 seasons ripping our hair out of our head because every freaking game he's got a different line mate. Let these guys play together and let it go for, the first quarter, 10, 12, 15 games, whatever.
Yeah.
They've looked really good. The Bedard with Burakovsky, Donato, and the Nazar with Teravainen and Bertuzzi. We saw that look good last season. That's carried over into this season. There's no reason to be tinkering with this stuff. the biggest problem Connor Bedard has had for 2 seasons is lack of chemistry with anybody.
Yeah.
Because last year he had 62 different line combinations he played on. That's not a made-up
That's not a
number.
joke.
That's the real number.
That's a literal
So
number.
let them just play.
Yeah.
Well, and through last preseason, you go back and you talk about, they brought in, it was Smith and Maroon and Martinez and all these guys. And it was like the first time that we were really getting a chance to see Taylor Hall healthy and in the lineup. And
Remember
through the
him?
preseason, they were mixing up lines and changing up guys who were playing, and it just looked bad through the preseason. And now you have Blashill coming through and saying, like, well, this is the opportunity for the NHL guys that are going to be in the NHL and to at least start the season are going to play together. Give them as much time together as possible so that when you do get to the regular season, you're not starting from square one trying to figure out, what's the best combination for these guys. You already have a feeling of what is or isn't going to work and what you can roll with for the first few games. So I like hearing that from Jeff Blashill.
All right, before we let you go, we know he addressed Kevin Korchinski. That's how Greg and I are going to kind of end the show, so want to save this one for last. If you missed it, Kevin Korchinski sent down to Rockford before the game. Mario, anything we need to add about what Blashill's talking about here?
Yeah, I think before the game, at today's morning skate, he kind of talked about the defensive group and the roster battles, and he talked about the forwards group and the roster battles and how it's really the decisions that they're going to make are different for different reasons based on the type of player that you're making the decision on. So I think what I gleaned from this is that Kevin Korchinski, where they kind of feel like he's at right now, is it's not a demotion to the AHL because he's not good enough. It's that what he can get the most out of is being the top defenseman in Rockford. So here's what Jeff Blashill had to say about that decision.
Basically, we get to a point where we want to get to AD. We want to practice with one team, and so honestly, it's as much as that as anything else. Try to get to where you don't have too many guys you could practice with one team. Our plan would be for him to still play another exhibition game, so it's not that he won't find his way back up here for on the weekend for one of those 2 games. So, I think as I said at the beginning of camp, we have more good players in spots. It'll be competitive, and whoever ends up going down just has to go down and thrive. And the one benefit I think when you do get sent down is, sometimes as a young player you're up here surviving. When you go down, you can thrive and gain tons of confidence from that. So we'll see how the rest of the week works out. Again, he's going to get another chance to come up and play an exhibition game.
So it sounds more like a quote-unquote paper transaction, at least for the time being, for Korchinski, that he'll get back into a game this weekend before the preseason is over. Who knows if that changes the minds of the Blackhawks at all, but the point that you like to make, Jay, about the duck on the water might seem like the guy's fine and calm above the water, but below water it's going 100 miles an hour. You look at how Kevin Korchinski has been handled by the Blackhawks. He played a full NHL season as a 19-year-old when he was kind of in that limbo spot, and then last year played the majority of the season with the Ice Hogs. You're kind of working backwards with his development in that you kind of forced him to try and survive for a full year. So now last year you give him an opportunity to thrive, gets an AHL All-Star game opportunity, and really seemed like he took a step. So I wouldn't call Korchinski heading to Rockford a failure at all yet. You want to see him continue to take steps developing.
Yeah, and when Kyle Davidson spoke the first day of training camp, he kind of laid the foundation of, hey, this is probably what we're going to do, and we don't look at it. He literally said if he has to start the season in Rockford, we don't view it as a step backwards. So he pretty much, when he had that conversation on day one, I was like, I don't think Kevin Korchinski's making the team. And it's fine. Like, it's a little disappointing for the fact that, you want him to be here, you want him to be good, you want to see why he was drafted 7th. Those days are coming. He'll be fine. He's still very young and very raw, and having guys like Sam Renzel come up, and it certainly looks like Levshunov is going to make the team, even though he's got a lot of work to do still. Having those guys here takes a ton of pressure off of Kevin Korchinski, and it allows him the time to develop more. So, let him be, the guy in Rockford again. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's time. I mean, if this happens next year, then I've got some concerns.
Yeah, if he never plays in the NHL this year because he's struggling in the AHL, then we're going to have some of these conversations about what needs to be done with Kevin Korchinski. But right now, he is a 21-year-old defenseman playing like a 21-year-old defenseman.
Yeah. All right, Mario, before we let you go, any nuggets or tidbits we need to know from the postgame?
Blashill talked about Ethan Del Mastro's game, which I thought was up and down, and it has been all preseason, which kind of made the Korchinski move a little bit interesting because coming off of the heels of him kind of talking about the other day where they don't want to make a decision before they have to on any of these players and trimming down the roster, but then you see the move to get Korchinski down, and Del Mastro I think still is kind of fighting it. I think we're going to learn a lot this weekend because it's going to be the last opportunity for a lot of these guys to play. So we're going to see where things stand with this group. But I feel like with Korchinski going down, it only gives a platform for guys like Nolan Allen and Ethan Del Mastro to shine. And so far, I haven't seen either of them really grasp that, and neither has Matt Grzelcyk. Like I think of an opportunity for him to get an NHL job. It's wide open for him, and I don't know, he just didn't really do much for me tonight. So, those were some last kind of takeaways from what Jeff Blashill had to say tonight.
All right, have a safe ride home. We'll see you at 11:30 tomorrow for practice.
Hooray! See ya.
You get to sleep in a little bit. All right, that's Mario Tirabassi live from the UC. Yeah, I think with Korchinski, it just kind of is what it is, right? It's the rule that was in place and still is in place until next year about the CHL players. It has to be CHL or NHL, no AHL. You can question if that was the right decision for Kevin Korchinski. I still think it was the right decision to him play a season in Chicago because you were tanking. And I'm not sure that him putting up 100 points on the Seattle Thunderbirds was going to aid his development very much. If anything, I would worry that it would teach him some bad habits. And we have seen
he's already got some of those.
What dominating junior, if you're too dominant in junior hockey, you come to the league with bad habits. Our old buddy Derek King talked about coaching the junior out of guys. The frustrations that Hawks fans have with Connor Bedard is 100% that. It is coaching the junior out of them. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if another year of junior instead of a year in the NHL that truly didn't mean anything at the NHL level would have been helpful for Kevin Korchinski. Of course, hindsight's 2020. If you'd asked me 2 years ago if I thought Korchinski would be a full-time NHLer by now, I would have said yes. But that is also not considering the development of Kaiser, the development of Renzel and Levshunov. And I guess 2 years ago, too, we didn't really know how good Alex Vlasic was going to be. So some new stuff has come to light, man, since
Nolan Allen's progressed well. Yes. He's not going to be – he'll likely start the season in the AHL more because there are other young defenders who are more ready than he is right now.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing.
No,
the Blackhawks blue line, as we've talked for a long time, looking really good for the next few years.
Yeah.
So let him get his moments in Rockford. Let him quarterback the top power play. Let him play 19, 20 minutes a night. It'll be fine. And he'll be, there's no reason to throw in the towel on Kevin Korchinski at this point of his career. And, I know people love throwing him in trade conversations. Trading Kevin Korchinski just to trade Kevin Korchinski is stupid. It's not really Kyle Davidson's MO. But if you get you got to include him in a trade to get yourself a young dynamic forward, okay.
Sure.
We'll have that conversation. But
Right.
trade him just to trade him because you have too many defensemen, that's nonsense.
Well, that brings us to the final topic we want to talk about today. And Frank Saravalli on Bleacher Report today said about Lukas Reichel, they're working on a deal to have him land somewhere, likely before next week when rosters are completed. It's not going to be a big return. We're talking probably a mid to late round pick. Now, I saw some pushback where people said, why deal him at all if that's going to be the only return? I understand that argument, but I think we need to have a real conversation about how the league views Lukas Reichel. And let's be real, he's been on the market for over a year. Like, this is now his third coach. Last year, you made a good point during the game that he's played half the year with Anders Sorensen last year in Chicago, the guy who was with him when he was thriving in Rockford, and Sorensen couldn't unlock him at the NHL level. Do I think he's looked better this preseason? Yes.
One game.
Yes.
That first game, when he got to play with Connor Bedard,
Yeah.
invisible.
Everybody was
again.
but in fairness, everybody was
He
asked
had
that
one
game.
shot attempt the whole game.
Yeah.
You play with Connor Bedard, and you have one shot attempt. That's not going to cut it.
It's true. It's not good enough. You're right.
How many
about that.
times have we seen that over the last 3 seasons? He finally gets that. Everybody says last year he got anchored on the fourth line. Well, every time they put him up anywhere else, he had that one shot attempt game.
And then
he
overslept and missed a meeting, and then
yeah. I am a big Lukas Reichel fan. I like him as a guy. He's a good kid. I got to know him a little bit covering his first season in Rockford. Really nice guy, easy to cheer for. He's got the look. He's got the speed.
Those flashes, man.
He's
once every 5 games, you're like, oop, there it is.
But it's just not going to happen here.
And I just don't know where. So, like, there's a couple of people saying,
where is he going to play this season? He's not playing on the top 6.
That's it. Like, Lebowski says, what if Reichel gets traded and becomes the next Patrick Sharp? Brad says Reichel's looked pretty good in preseason, good enough to not be traded. But where's he going to go?
Where's he going to play?
What is his? Because that's the thing. If he's not in the top 6, he has no value. So are you keeping Lukas Reichel around simply to and instead of Oliver Moore, instead of Colton Dach? Those guys have been better than him.
Yes.
Ryan Green's been better than him.
It's all about impacting the game.
Yes.
He doesn't impact the game enough. And, people are saying, what about patience? Patience. He had 2 full years to give us something.
And we haven't really had an actual flash during an NHL game that counts since the end of the year 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When we all were like, ooh, Lukas Reichel, he's here finally. And then it completely went away.
I was the guy banging the Lukas Reichel drum the loudest during that stretch at the end of the 22 season. And, it's just not happening here. Sometimes you just have to cut bait and say, let's put him in a chance where he can go to a team where he can get a top 6 opportunity. It's just not going to. He's not going to be a top 6 player for the Chicago Blackhawks, and his skill set is to be a top 6 player. Well, and that's not going to happen here.
That's something too that. And like Windy City Hockey says, how about Reichel in a 4th for Nick Robertson? No, that's not out there.
Robinson has value still. Somebody asked if they could send him to the AHL. You can, but he's got to clear waivers, and he's not clearing waivers.
I think
you don't want to lose him for nothing.
And something we talk about a lot on the show that I think some people lose sight of is Kyle Davidson is probably trying to do right by Lukas Reichel and says, look, we don't have a spot for you here. You've been leapfrogged by several forwards. We don't have a spot for you on this roster. So we're going to try to get you somewhere where you can have an opportunity to become the guy that you think you can and the organization thought you could be when you were drafted.
Yeah.
And that stuff matters. The way players are treated by organizations matters. Remember, how much praise the Blackhawks got last year for how they handled Pat Maroon and Alec Martinez. Instead of just trading them for whatever they can get, they said, you know what? These guys, Alec Martinez had some stuff going on in his personal life. Pat Maroon did too. And they said, you know what? We're not going to flip you just for pennies on a dollar. We'll let you finish out the year here. We're going to honor you at the end of your careers. That goes a long way, and players notice that stuff. So when you're talking about, like, what are some of the things that Kyle Davidson can do to attract top free agents here, when Pat Maroon, who is one of the most respected and revered guys around the league, can say, hey, I went to Chicago and I was treated world class. They treated me like a king when I played 7 minutes a night and was a shadow of my former self. They honored me. They respected me. They honored my wishes, and they treated me well. Do not hesitate to go play in Chicago. That stuff matters. So sure, maybe you could trade Lucas Reichel. Maybe there's a team out there offering you a third or a fourth, but there's a good opportunity for him somewhere with a fifth. Maybe you do the solid for the player and say, hey, we want to put you in a situation that we think you're going to thrive at, that you feel comfortable in. We're not going to send you to, I'm just picking a team here, nothing personal, but Columbus. We're going to send you to Tampa or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to give you somewhere you want to go where you're going to get an opportunity, because it's not going to happen here. And those sort of things go long ways with players.
And I'm sure Lucas Reichel is at the point where he wants a fresh start too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, getting traded, especially for the first time in your career, can't be a pleasurable experience. But I'm sure he's kind of like, you know what? I want to get fresh start, new teammates, new situation. We'll see what happens. Listen, he'll probably get traded to the Florida Panthers and be a 40-goal scorer. You know,
I'll take the under.
He'll take
on that bet.
He'll be the new Barkov down in Florida, because that's just the way it happens.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know, who are all these Blackhawks that have left and become superstars?
I don't know.
That everyone was all worked up about.
What's Stephen John's done lately?
Is it Philip Deneau? Philip Deneau is probably the latest. Like, ooh, I wish you had that one back.
Well, see, I hated that trade because you got two absolute stiffs back for him.
Right.
Dale Weiss, that guy blows.
Yeah.
I can't stand that guy.
No, he sucks.
Yeah, he still sucks.
Yes.
And he wanted to blame Joe Quenneville for why he sucked here.
Yeah, well, everyone knows Joe Quenneville, awful coach.
Yeah, makes people worse.
Before we wrap up the show,
Sad.
I want to remind everybody, Cubs in a wild card. They took game 1 today. There was a live watch-along with our CHGO Cubs show. They're doing it again tomorrow. So, hey, you know what? You don't break tradition when things are happening. Stuckey, Patrick Norton, Justin Roman, Kevin Wells, Joey Christopoulos, Jared Willis, Brendan Miller, Corey Friedman, and Dr. Joyce Brothers will all be there.
Dick Vitale joining
us for the Cubs watch along, and then an immediate post game show. As I'm going to say it right now, Dylan Cease and the Padres, welcome to the golf season, fellas. It's over for you tomorrow.
Padres will cease to exist.
Shova Inanaga.
Clipped
tomorrow.
After the 8-0 Padres win.
That's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to be doing a live watch along at Wrigley Field tomorrow.
That sounds awesome. That sounds even more fun.
I'm playing
nothing against Dr. Joyce Brothers.
I'm playing hooky from Blackhawks practice and going to my first ever MLB postseason game.
It's a lot of fun. Pat Hughes today said it was the most energy he's felt in Wrigley in 30 years. He's lying, but he said that. Also,
I'm going to turn it down a notch.
Let's plug your new venture.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. Guys, want to keep up on what I'm doing? Check us out over at Blackhawk Up. Good first month there.
Really good.
Doing everything.
Don't undersell it.
Doing everything that I've been doing, just in a different spot. So make sure you're checking it out. We're building momentum over there. Got a good group. So that's where the written content is, and then the Second Balcony podcast. My old pal Frank Nova and I, we're doing right now just a once a month or once a week podcast. Maybe as the season gets on, we can find some more time to do it. But right now, Thursday nights is our night. So this Thursday, we'll record another episode of that. So while you're on YouTube, look up Second Balcony and subscribe to that so you can get notifications when we do drop a new episode. And I really appreciate the team over at Fansided for allowing me to come here and do the home post-game shows all season and do all the other adventures. Busy season, but it's a lot of fun. It's what I live for.
Final thing, there was a super chat from Connor Del Rio. I thought you guys might have punched me in the throat if I put it up, though. $2 super chat saying, Bedard on wing, he still isn't carrying the line.
Connor Bedard had 10 shot attempts today.
It's not good enough.
I didn't say it.
I'm
was
that
don't shoot the messenger.
Was that Alberto Del Rio's little brother?
I think so.
See,
the
it's always about the rest
typical
of it.
the first name that would go with Del Rio is Connor.
It's everywhere, man.
Alberto and Connor.
All right.
Two most Irish
Well, we
names.
appreciate the super chat, Connor. Thank you.
Thank you for
but
the $2.
Connor Bedard has been really good in the preseason. Really good. All the stuff we've heard about him in this offseason, adding speed. Had a couple. He was credited with 2 hits today. Pretty solid. By the way, one thing I want to mention that I failed to mention when we were talking about Oliver Moore, won a board battle against gigantic Elmer Soderblom. That's impressive.
That's a glue kind of move, right
That's
there.
a huge. That's a huge man.
And one thing I forgot to mention about Bedard, we're talking to him before we go. Little red ass Bedard today. I like that. Finished a check. Went on his way to check a guy on his first shift. And then when one of the 18 hyphenated players on the Red Wings, Bernard, Docker, Smith, Brothers, Johnson, whatever his name is, gave him a shot after the whistle, he turned around and went right back after him and drew the penalties. So good for him. I like seeing that.
Yeah, 3 hyphenated players.
And that's only
That's too many.
that's only because they left like 7 of them back in Detroit.
That's too many. That's enough. There's got to be a limit.
Can you knock the nonsense off about the preseason font and the regular season?
You've got to
font?
earn the font.
Pretentious,
here.
Pretentious jerks.
Can I do this on YouTube?
Well, you just did. So
Yeah, I think we're past fast.
I'm still doing it.
You're also still doing it.
You could do it on YouTube. You can't do it on fast.
10 of those for each hyphen on the roster.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess what? We're back tomorrow. Greg won't because he's going to the Cubs game. But Greg will be here for all home games. This is going to be the format for home games. Me and Greg here. Mario at the UC. Good stuff. Glad to have Greg as part of our show here. Also, just for your programming notes, our season preview show is Monday. Greg will be here for that too. But we'll be back tomorrow, 2:30 after Hawks practice with all sorts of news and notes from Blackhawks practice. Sean, thanks for running the show today, buddy. We appreciate you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
That sounds great. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Hit that like button for us. And one last appeal. Big brothers, big sisters, give a couple bucks before this thing closes out in an hour and 14 minutes. bbbs.org/allcity. Yes, it's a good cause, but more important than charity is beating our colleagues. So let's go. Let's dunk on DNVR, dunk on PHNX, dunk on DLLS again. Dunk on PHLY. They've had enough success. Let's go. Let's get CHGO into the leaderboard here. BBBS.org/allcity.
Final thing, the people voted for Dach. It was a landslide, 70%.
All right, there you go. Game puck to Colton Dach. Congratulations. And by game 35,
the Greg effect.
I'll remember the segment. All right, thanks, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.